Hi, boys and girls. We are going to make a card. I'm going to start with a joke. Why was the snowman rummaging in the bag of carrots? He was picking his nose. Haha, ba-dum-bum. Okay, so if you only have white paper, then you can just fold it and draw a line to show where your snowbank is, and then color in the background, and then go ahead and do the rest of it like that. If you have a colored background, then you just fold that and everything's going to go on top of that. Then you take your white sheet of paper, you fold it in half, and you cut it in half. And this should be the same size as that. So then I'm just going to rip this, give it a rough edge, and that'll be my snowbank. So I will glue that on there. I'm going to use my messy pad over here so I don't get it on the table. And line that up with the bottom. You can put a couple on top of each other and it gives it some depth. I would do another one that's a little bit shorter, like this over the top. Okay. Then, to make your snowman, you would take the other piece of paper and I would draw the circles first. Large, medium, oh, it's a lopsided, and small. If you're gonna make this guy. I was actually going to make a slightly different one though. So let me show you that. So if you wanna make a slightly different one, I was gonna try making one that was sideways. So that's how to make the one like this. If you're gonna make one like this, then you do the same thing except you're gonna fold this also like that the same way. But then you're gonna rip this. You're just gonna go ahead and rip that. And then glue that on there. So I'm gonna use my messy pad again. Now, I want to make 3 small snowmen. So if you're going to do that, it's a little tricky. But if you want to do that, you take the other half of the white paper and then you fold it in thirds if you want to do it fast. You can fold it in thirds and then draw your larger, medium, and small. And then cut it all the way across like that so that the 3 pieces still stick together, right? Then you're cutting all 3 out at the same time. I'm a big fan of cutting out a bunch of things at once. Really is a good time saver. See, they're still stuck together because I cut them all the way across. If you want to just do one at a time, that's fine too. This is just a shortcut. I'm turning the paper and not the scissors. The scissors pretty much stay straight the whole time, sort of perpendicular to my body, and I turn the paper. Okay, so now I should have 3 snowmen. I'm going to glue them on here. 1, 2, 3. I start at the bottom and go up to the top so that they're overlapping in that direction. And then big, small, medium. Wait, big, medium, small. So it's going to be down here a little bit. Okay, I've got 3 snowmen. Whoops. Oh no, I got my nail polish on them. Oh well, I'm gonna move on. Okay, so for 2 of these guys, I'm gonna make a top hat. So to make a top hat, you want a little rectangle. There you go. And then 2 strips that are longer than the hat is wide. So the top hat goes on first. Then the little strip. More glue. Okay, these 2 guys have hats. All right. Now, this guy's gonna have a candy cane on his head, but I'll do that in a minute. Okay, so then you can just use your marker or a pen or whatever you like, a pencil to make the eyes and everything. So I'm gonna just use this for these guys. It's not quite dark enough. I'm gonna go ahead and use this. I like the buttons going all the way down, but you do it however you want. I think this is running out of ink. Okay, then I'm gonna use this for the nose. You could cut this out of paper if you want. You could do all this out of cut paper if you wanna. He's gonna have a nose too. So this guy's going to be a little surprised at having a candy cane on his head. And then these 2 guys just look normal. I guess I'll go ahead and draw the arms. Then, if you want to make this, you could use wrapping paper if you have it, or any kind of patterned paper or colored paper would be just fine. I don't have any of that, so I actually made some by just making stripes. So I did the red, leaving just enough space so that I can go back and fill that in with the same width of green to save time. So I do all of that, and this in with green, and I tried to leave the right width. Pretty close. Should have been a little closer together. Okay, there. So that's the paper I'm going to use for one of these. So I did a curve about the width of his head, and then I rounded these little edges so it looks more like a scarf. I'm gonna put this, yeah, I'll put it on him. That right there. And then for these guys, it's sort of a S shape. So, like that. And it got a little smaller at one end. Okay, and then I could leave that white there, but I didn't. And then I sort of just cut into the end. And then one of them should be going underneath this part. The long scarf. Ooh. There we go. And then the other part should go over the part of the scarf that's coming out of his neck, coming around his neck. There. Now, I recommend doing this without red nail polish on because it's actually getting all over my snowman. Okay, now I'm gonna put a candy cane on top of his head. You could put whatever you want. I was trying to think of something that would be surprising to him. I'm gonna cut it first. Think of something else that might be more surprising than a candy cane on your head. You got a candy cane for a hat, and he's a little surprised by that. Okay, I could go on and put scarves on these guys, or whatever else you want. You could think of something else that would be surprising on his head, maybe a bird. These were kind of tricky to do. I would use regular copy paper to make these, a little thinner paper. And then I just made these the regular way, but just with tiny paper. What else? This little thing, I didn't have any red paper, so I did the same thing where I just colored an area and then cut it out in a circle. And then the rest of that, I just drew that so that it was hanging on his little hand. So try to turn the paper and not the scissors. There we go. Oh, a little closer. There we go. Okay. Then the little top, and it's hanging on his little arm. Okay, and then the holly, I just used some green paper and I stacked it up on top of each other. So I got a piece like this and I folded it in thirds, and then I tiny holly leaves. They're stuck together. Oh, good. Those are attached to each other. Perfect. This guy gets holly in his hat. I could just have those two and not the third one. I'll give him the third one. There. Boy. Then I just did the same thing I did here, except I made them even smaller and put 3 of them here for the holly. Okay. And then the caption inside, if it's dark like this and you want to be able to write on the inside, then you could just take a paper and, I mean, cards you buy have this also in the middle. But only glue it on one side like this. You wouldn't attach it on both sides because then it's hard to open. And if you buy a card that has an insert like this, that's the way they do it too. So I would line up with the center and then just have it like that. And then I was gonna put a little funny line in here. All your holiday surprises be good. I think he's gonna end up thinking that's a good surprise though when he sees what that is. Okay, here's some that I did for the younger grades. They'll make something like this. And I just drew some snowflakes on there. You could do that here too with white crayon. This is the one my daughter made. Okay, all right. Bye.